Welcome back to another episode of the Stick 'em Up podcast. Just a couple weeks out from the trade deadline, so we figured we'll just center this video around trade rumors, speculation, but also keeping it realistic as well. So all the rumors that we hear, if it's possible, then we'll think of a possible trade that we can probably come up with and just have a regular discussion in general. For once, we're not going to do a player of the podcast either. We're just going to jump straight into it. So, Luca, who's the first player you want to make a trade around or talk about?
I say we start somewhere in San Jose. There's two obvious candidates that we can start with. Want to start with Meyer?
Yeah. Well, so earlier, we were just messing around earlier and came up with, trade proposals, but you already seen mine, but what do you think one could be? Carolina has a lot of cap space, so salary definitely isn't, an issue. Neither is prospects nor draft picks.
I still think
they're good on defense and they're good on goaltending. So really, they just need a forward of really any nature. I feel like. I
do think the front runner, and I think the most realistic fit might actually be New Jersey, with everything that's been going, like all the speculation and rumors. I mean, New Jersey has probably more assets than Carolina does. Not to say that Carolina doesn't, but I mean, obviously
New Jersey probably has higher tier prospects than Carolina.
And even without that, they still have just more assets in general because they've been bad for how long?
Yeah.
Until this year, when now they're ready to take a jump. But I do think New Jersey is a realistic fit. I do think he would definitely put them over the edge. But you could say that about any team he goes to. I don't know. Where would you start with the trade from New Jersey?
For New Jersey, I think it starts. Well, I mean, San Jose really needs anything, so the position probably really doesn't matter too much. It definitely starts with a first, and then also, I think, then also a second, but I, made a thing on, Cap Friendly, the armchair thing, and I put a condition on the second, as the second becomes a first if he resigns. Apparently, I didn't know this, apparently you can't make a condition be, re-signing anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't do that. So I'd say a first, definitely a second. If it's New Jersey, then maybe that Mahudin dude.
You probably butchered that.
It's not. It's not going to be Luke Hughes for sure. It's not going to be Luke Hughes.
It's not going to be him. It's not going to be Nemec. I mean, you could maybe see Holtz.
Yeah, I say maybe a first, a second, and Holtz is a lot. I feel like because then it's also if it's to New Jersey, I feel like they'll definitely re-sign him. Because I've seen Meyer's been rumored to other teams where they'll trade him after the season, which is definitely possible. That definitely gets really complicated really quick.
It's a lot, but it's also that's honestly that is what an asking price would be for someone like Timo Meier for his skill.
But then it's also the $10 million qualifying offer is what scares people away probably.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I mean, New Jersey is a team that can. They could probably find a way around it, but then again, they also have other contract. Not the word they're not in some sort of situation, but they're young, so they have all these players that are going to need contracts soon. Whenever Luke Hughes, and Nemec,
but they also got and Bratt after this season too.
Oh yeah, because he only signed that 1 year.
Well, they got Heischer and Hughes and Hamilton locked up.
Those three are fine.
Marino's good for a while. I mean, that's really it. I mean, that's basically where your money's going to be spent. So, yeah, they really could go out for a Meyer, but you would just have to be, aware from that point on what you spend your money towards.
Yeah,
because at that point, it's a lot of players making a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, once Nemec and Hughes, once they actually break into the league and whatnot, they're gonna be great players once they actually solidify themselves. So it's what are they gonna want?
Yeah. Yeah, for the Carolina one, I always said a first. Might as well just make it two first since it's Carolina, I guess.
Well, you also got to remember, I think we both forgot this, that by the time, say those two prospects, and 2 years from now, the cap's going to, is going to go up.
Yeah, true.
So.
I would say if it's Carolina, because I guess New Jersey would be yours. Mm-hmm. I'd say for Carolina, I'd say two first, and then I'll say Jack Drury, Mateos, and Lajoie. I mean, those players, they're younger. But you also got to think on a San Jose team in their roster right now, those players can jump in right away and start playing.
Yeah, no, that's true.
That's also what you got to think about for these kind of trades. So they could, and obviously the salary cap works in that situation as well.
Well, maybe they don't play Jack Drury if they were to get him in a trade.
Oh yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
They got Eklund.
Yeah, but certain teams like Chicago and San Jose, if you can't find a roster spot on those teams, then you're probably not going to find one in the NHL at all.
Elsewhere, yeah.
That's what I mean by that. So I guess for the next one we'll do. It's probably going to happen any day at this point, but Jacob Chikrin, and I'm gonna make mine to LA. Are you gonna do that as well?
I mean, honestly, yeah, which is fine. I mean, I think the Oilers talk with Chychrun has like died down. I don't think it's going to be a thing anymore. But I mean,
I have something to talk about the Oilers with a trade.
Well, yeah. So and like the past like day or two, it's all been LA. With, the rumors of Brant Clark going the other way, which apparently have been shot down.
Yeah,
that's not true.
Clark and Byfield aren't going the other way. So I knew that already when I made this trade proposal, so it kind of helped. But so for mine, I'm saying Chychrun and Vejmelka to LA for Turcotte, a first in this year's draft, a 2024 third. I put a condition on it though, and I said if LA makes it to the third round in this year's playoffs, then the pick becomes a second.
Okay.
And then I said Cal Peterson going the other way. And then I said Sean Walker because it was there. It's literally been reports since like last season that they've been trying to move either between him and Roy, and they're like the identical players. So
I've heard like he's not like I've heard like complaints about Sean Walker too.
Well, he was also like hurt all of last year, but I just put him in there for the money as well because he has another year at $2.5 million.
That probably gets it done.
Well, then I said for value-wise because, I mean, Walker's basically a throw-in. Peterson really has no value. Turcotte has some at first and a third. And then, just to be safe, I said Fagemo and that Maury Vera dude, that defenseman.
Does he have any value? I mean, he
has some, I think. So that's what maybe you can throw him off, but that's what I said my trade would look like. And I make sure these match up with like the salary cap and stuff.
I think they would rather ask for someone like... if I'm Arizona, I think they would probably ask for someone like Jordan Spence instead. Yeah, but I
thought of that when I was thinking of like the trade, but I know that LA wants to play Jordan, get Jordan Spence a top 6 role, so I figured they would want to keep him.
I mean, I personally, like I said, other than like probably throwing in Spence, like that trade, honestly, like it seems fair for both sides.
If you can get Jacob Chychrun without giving up, Clark and Byfield, I think it's pretty good.
That's a win in itself.
Yeah. And then, all right, so what do you think? Or what's your...
For him?
Oh, yeah.
I still say to LA. Did you also see the thing saying that like they asked for Velarde last year?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well...
I keep forgetting Velarde's like having a good year.
Yeah, he's injured right now, but I mean, before then he was doing fine. But if I'm LA, I'm probably sending Turcotte a first. Like I said, Spence. And who else could you probably part ways with that? Like... Maybe Rasmus Kupari, maybe. I don't really know.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I also think that Kupari and Kaliev are like the same person, but I know Kaliev has the really good shot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, from what I know, Rasmus Kupari is kind of like a depth guy. Like he plays third and fourth line. I don't know what his like offensive upside is, but I mean, he's also young. I think he's 21, 22. So that I could also see. I honestly like your trade more. I like your theoretical.
Yeah. So I think, honestly, it's literally going to happen any day at this point.
I mean, I'm scratching them every night they play. So.
Yeah, true. So the next one, Patrick Kane. It's a harder one to predict because the injury stuff that's come out in recent days. Obviously, his production as a whole. Rangers not trading for him, so and that was his top spot. Apparently, like to him, or at least one of his top spots. So the Rangers are off. So. It's kind of seemed like, I don't know, I feel like the Kane deal is not going to get done. But let's just say if it did, where do you think he would go and for what? Also keeping him on salary realistically as well, to the best of your ability.
Well, I don't know because I don't really know how much that like injury thing is like, how many teams are actually scared of it. You know what I mean?
I think it just diminishes the value. So if you're Chicago and you want more for him, do you sign him to like a 1 year? And you could definitely get his cap hit cheaper off that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead of a 1 year 10.5, it's like a 1 year $7 million contract. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That makes it way even easier. And you figure this out next year's deadline, or do you just want to trade him now and take what you can get for him?
There would be. I don't really know what the cap will look like, but I'm looking at Dallas because there's also been rumors there.
That's my team that I chose.
Yeah, I mean, I could see. I mean, I'd probably say. You gotta say. I mean, it's Patrick Kane. Right, regardless of the production he's doing this year, it's I would probably say
they don't have their first though for this year's draft.
Don't they have a first though?
Dallas?
Yeah, don't they have New York?
They gave it up for Lundqvist.
Yeah.
They don't have their first. You want to hear my trade proposal for them?
I can give you another one. Even with that, I could probably say Maverick Bork, a second, and maybe, because I don't even think he's getting played. Maybe Thomas Harley.
Yeah,
that's probably. I mean,
yeah.
And then, I just said that it's still Patrick Kane, but it's also with the injuries, with the bad production. Now, granted,
I don't think you have enough cap to re-sign him. I know Dallas is in a tough spot, but what I said for Dallas, I said a second, a fifth. I said Riley Tufte, because he's not. I know he's 25 now, but he's not even playing in Dallas, and Chicago can easily find a roster spot for him. So I said Tufte. I said Garionov, because he's still relatively young, 25. If he plays well the next season or two, you can definitely flip him for more. And he also makes $2.9 million just for this season. He's expiring as an RFA, so they can keep his rights. So that helps with salary and a little bit of the value. And then I threw in Hudobin because, one, they could use a backup and salary, and he's up at the end of the season. So really, in terms of just value, it's a second, a fifth, Tufte, and a little bit of Gurionov, I guess. That's what. And then obviously Kane's 50% retained.
Yeah, I actually like that too. I would probably throw in Hudobin as well, and I'd probably switch out Harley for Gurionov as well. Because yeah. But at the same time, it's how many more years does Ryan Suter have? He has a few.
I think 2.
Yeah.
After this one.
I mean, I gotta figure they want to play Thomas Harley.
Yeah,
somewhere.
he's only 21 too.
I mean, yeah, I actually like that. Throw in Hudobin and switch out Harley for Gurionov. I don't think I mentioned him in my first proposal, did I? I don't think I did.
No.
If not, but that's what I that's what I throw in.
And it's also it's a prominently American team, American hockey, is pretty popular for Dallas. So I figured that has to mean a lot to Kane as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, honestly, I can't really picture him going to too many other teams. It's not that.
Well, I mean, they'll probably give up. I mean, that's a trade I can see, and then who knows? Maybe they'll sign in Buffalo in the.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, dude, that'd be amazing.
I don't think they're going to go after him at the deadline, Buffalo. I really don't think they are.
I have a great. All right, so for the next one, do you want to move on to you?
Yeah, I'm fine with moving on.
All right, so same team for Chicago, but Jonathan Toews this time.
I mean, for me, it's either. I mean, it's.
There was a rumored team today that's the leading candidate for. I don't know if you saw it.
Is it Winnipeg or
no.
Colorado? It's
Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, those were my two teams. You really probably don't have to give up too much.
Well,
I mean, the pedigree, yeah, I understand, and what he's achieved, yeah, but it's also what he is right now.
And the salary, too.
And the salary, so it's what's yours? So I never,
Well, for mine, I have, I also threw in a couple other players that Colorado or Chicago will send, but I looked at Colorado's, obviously, their deadline cap space, their rosters, they have no one on, the only person on injury, LTIR right now for them, is Landeskog, and Manson's on IR. So I looked at all that stuff. So I'm saying it's Jonathan Toews at 50%.
Yeah.
Also, Max Domi, just a straight $3 million, and Jack Johnson I threw in there as well because they love him, and he's probably their 7th or 8th defenseman. Doesn't hurt going into the playoffs, you know what I mean? So I had those 3 for Chicago, or Columbus doesn't have much prospects or draft picks to really work
Columbus?
with. Or Colorado.
Yeah.
Well, granted, it's those 3 players I mentioned. I said 2023 first, and then if you think that's not enough, maybe then I said a 2024 fourth.
The first seems steep, but it's also Colorado.
But it's also
does not care.
But it's all and it's also that too. That also has something to do with it. But it's also you're getting Toews, Domi, and Johnson. You know what I mean? You're getting a center, you're getting a utility player, and you're getting a depth defenseman all in one trade for a first and a fourth.
I'm looking at Winnipeg because one reason why he could also go there is just because he's from the area.
Yeah.
Let's see, deadline space. They have they have $9 million of deadline space. The Jets.
Jets, yeah.
I'm looking at that now. So I mean, still retain, I would imagine. But I would probably say a second and because maybe Ville Heinola, is that fair?
No, yeah, that's a great one. I'm sorry, I was looking at my cap-friendly stuff today because I had a Jets trade.
Or maybe even a third in Ville, because I mean he's got to actually play some meaningful minutes.
I'm also just watching everyone roast me because obviously that's what everyone does. But one of the ones I did a Red Wings one, and I had 50% Bertuzzi to the Jets for a second-round pick.
Wait, somebody commented on that?
No, I'm just saying that's just one of the ones I had. But yeah, I mean, the Jets, they can definitely go so many different ways if they really want to.
I like yours. I like mine. I really think, because you also remember that like Cheveldayoff knows like Tays well. He was there in the 2010 run and everything.
Yeah.
I honestly maybe not. If you're gonna give up Heinola, maybe I would probably swap that second to a third, and then throw in Heinola because I mean he's got to. I think he's gonna become something.
Yeah.
I don't know what, but I mean he's 8 points or 6 points in his first 10 games, like literally his draft year, and he just jumped right into the league. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd probably switch to a third in him. But Bertuzzi, if we were to go to him, I want him to go to Dallas, and I would probably take like a third. I mean, the only way that like you're going to get anything meaningful, because he's obviously not having a good year from injuries, and that's really it. It's just really injuries. Is off his pedigree from having 30 goals last year, and he was basically like I think he was like 5 points away from point per game.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to get something for him is based off of the reputation, and even before last season, I mean, he was putting up about 45, 50 points each year when we were like,
Oh yeah,
like right in our rebuild. So I mean, Steve Eisman came out and he said that like if they're trading Bertuzzi, they want to get something like that has meaning to it. They don't want to just give him up for like a third just because he's having a bad year. But I would take like from Dallas maybe like. I don't know how much. I mean, I mentioned his name before. I don't know how much they love Maverick Bork, but with the emergence of Wyatt Johnson, like
he's so good.
yeah, with the emergence of him, kind of like stepping over him, stepping over Bork, and then obviously Robertson, Hintz. They have their core. I mean, maybe they're willing to part ways with them. I think the cap would work as well. Obviously, we can retain. So I would do like a third in Bork. I would have to see what he's also doing this year. What about you? Any besides that Jets one?
For Tays?
No, for Bertuzzi.
Oh, for Bertuzzi? I don't know. It's just so hard to think about it because it all depends how you value him. Certain players and certain fan bases view people very differently. So
I didn't even know he was playing in the AHL Maverick Bork. He has 26 points in 44 games, so
pretty good.
About half a point per game. He's 21. Yeah, I mean that's really the only trade I've thought of for Bertuzzi. So
yeah, I mean it's hard because Florida obviously they're gonna try and go for it. You have to, but it's like Florida can't make any trades because they have no cap space.
Still waiting for Duclair.
And they have no trading asset. I mean, other than Duclair, but
that's Sammy Samoskevich too. I think he's gonna be good.
I don't know. I just don't see Florida being able to make. They're just restricted. They're kind of like the Penguins. They're just restricted in literally moves they can make. So
I think they're even more restricted.
If Florida had the cap space, though, Bertuzzi to Florida, I think he would fit in so nicely there.
They also had like a couple firsts, but they don't.
Yeah, they would definitely give up a first for Bertuzzi.
Which I would.
Yeah, I don't know. Toronto, I mean, he's been linked to them for so many years, and Toronto needs a third or second line left wing spot open so badly. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Bertuzzi would just be perfect.
I don't want Nick Robertson. I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, maybe just like a second and a third at 50%.
I mean, honestly, I probably would rather that because Nick Robertson just can't.
And he's hurt the rest of the season too. Robertson.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And this is like his third or fourth
serious injury.
Yeah.
And he's what?
Nothing
21?
on him, but it's just...
it's just luck of the draw. And he's 21, 22, and if he's getting injured this bad at this age, it's like, don't risk it.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's also... I feel like Nick Robertson's been around for so long, it's just because of how he was drafted. Like, he just missed deadlines by, like, a day. Mm-hmm. So he's like... I feel like he's way younger, and like, one of the youngest in his draft class.
Yeah, I mean, no slouch on him. I mean, he might end up becoming something wherever he plays, whether it's in Toronto or he gets moved, but... It's just like it's risky with everything.
I feel like if Jason Robertson literally wasn't a thing, I feel like people would definitely still think that Nick Robertson was a good prospect. But I feel like just because of the name and like how they're kind of similar in age, people kind of think that Nick Robertson can be like a 70-point player. Maybe not as good as Jason is, but like you know what I mean, like a 70-point player just because of the name.
I mean he could.
He could, but
he has the skill. It's just everything he's been through, and like even when he's on Toronto. Or like when he's in their lineup, it's like he's either on the second line or below it.
Yeah.
So it's like he's really not having all that opportunity. But I just personally would not want him. He can still become something. I would not be surprised if he blossoms into a 60-point getter. 5-6 years from now. But
yeah,
it's not something I want to risk for moving Bertuzzi.
Yeah. Oh, also, I just read a comment on one of my things. I did a Canucks one, and someone said. Canucks definitely pass on the Winnipeg trade, and I went up to it, and it was Garland and Höglander to Winnipeg for Heinola and a fifth. Someone said pass on that. I just wanted to show. I just thought that was a little strange.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a pass.
Yeah, I just thought that was a little strange. But yeah, so the next one that I want to get into is the big one, the one I'm most excited for.
We've already said a couple of big ones.
The Erik Karlsson one, which I just want to preface right now. I really don't think he's getting traded at the deadline. I think it'll be a draft or the offseason or next year's deadline. Mm-hmm. But I hope it happens. It'll be really interesting. But
crazy,
in all honesty, I don't think he does. But obviously, for entertainment's sake, just say he does. Where do you think he's going to go?
I don't even know. It's just
literally fourth in the league in scoring as a defenseman.
It's just with the contract. I just trying to think of like what teams would actually do.
He's playing like his contract. He's playing like the money. He's not playing like it's just the term.
I was about to say if it was
4 more years.
If it was 2 years, I would.
And the age too, I guess.
Yeah,
he's 33. 4 more years after this one. 11 and a half. Fourth in the league in scoring on a horrible team. Like
if it was 2 years, I'd be thinking of all these like theoreticals, but it's just so hard because he is playing like an 11 mil defenseman with like basically 20 points over point per game, if not close to it. But I don't know what's your theoretical?
Because obviously I'm sticking with the rumors, not necessarily that I want to say I'm sticking with the rumors because I want to keep it as realistic as possible. So I went with Edmonton, and I think I sent this to you earlier, but this does break down. This does fit into the salary cap, and this is no retention on Karlsson's salary, which is important because if you retain, the value just goes up dramatically. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember you sending this.
So this is with no retention. It's Karlsson, Karlsson and Bonino. Bonino's at 50% because I think this is just like right up against like the max. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But going to San Jose, it's Tyson Barrie at $4.5 million, Warren Foegele at 2.75, Jesse Puljujarvi at 3, Evan Bouchard 2023 first and a 2024 second. I think that the first and the second are there for his production this season minus how bad you think his contract is. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that balances it out. I think that's where the first and second comes from. I think Bouchard comes in for taking on Foegele and Barrie's contracts because to Barrie or to the Sharks, Barrie has no value.
Right.
I feel like. But like just say hypothetically if you trade Barrie, to Florida, he would have positive value. You know what I mean?
Evan Bouchard could become what the Sharks anticipated with Ryan Merkley before they made the trade because I guess it just didn't pan out with them.
I mean, and Barrie, Foegele, and Puljujarvi are literally just there for the sole purpose of salary. Foegele has 1 more year, so they can play him this season or next season, flip him at next year's deadline. Mm-hmm. Puljujarvi, they can literally do whatever they want with him. Bouchard, they can give him top 4 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and with Barrie, they can play him. I think his contract's up at the end of the next season. So, again, they can flip this for even more assets. I think, and Bonino, they could also use Bonino. Like, so if you read the lines, as this trade goes through, and just say that Meyer doesn't get traded, this is what the lines would look like. I mean, Hyman, McDavid, Kane, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Yamamoto, Holloway, Ryan, Janmark, McLeod, Bonino, Costin. That's your forward core, which isn't horrible.
No, they would probably want to go out and get another depth piece, like for the bottom 2 lines.
That's why I added Bonino in there.
Yeah.
But
makes sense.
But then your top pair is Nurse and Karlsson, which is crazy.
Yeah. Even though apparently Nurse sucks at defense.
Yeah,
so.
a $20 million. It's probably not your actual pair, but I was just jotting down people. So like Nurse, Karlsson, Kulak, Ceci, Broberg, and Demers. Mm-hmm. And when I was thinking about the trade too, I was interchanging Broberg or Bouchard. If you want to throw in Broberg instead of Bouchard, then you can do that as well.
Yeah.
I still think the trade evens out regardless. And then, obviously, if you're San Jose, it's Meyer, Hurdle, LeBanc, Foegele, Couture, Puljujarvi, Lindblom, Sturm, Barabanov, Svechnikov, Lorenz Kunin. And then the defense is horrible, Luca. It's Bouchard, Ferraro, Shimmick, Vlasic, Harrington, Benning.
That's actually true.
So obviously this trade took a while to think up, but like, do you want to keep with Edmonton? What do you think? What's your Karlsson trade look like, or you want to tweak?
Not really much tweaking. It's more so what they would do after, like I said, because you're moving on from Jesse. You're moving on from who else did you say was in there?
Foegele.
Foegele, which
you're losing 4 roster players for basically 1. I mean, I threw in Bonino, but you're giving up 4 roster players for 1.
Yeah, and you read off the lines, and it's like, the top 6 you interchange however you want. You do whatever you want with McDavid.
I don't think Holloway should be in the NHL this season, but it's too late now. So
I really have no issue with the trade. It's just like if they're going to move on from that many roster players, it's like now they're going to have to make more trades and get more depth pieces.
Yeah. So that just goes to show like how hard a KARLSSON trade is, because this is with this is probably the most like salary wise, you know what I mean, to an actual contender looking for KARLSSON.
When does Kyler Yamamoto come back?
He's coming back like today or tomorrow because they're going to talk about putting Puljujarvi on waivers because they need to free up like $1.5 million.
I remember seeing that.
And if they send him down, then they can free up Yamamoto. So.
No, I mean, coming up with one is really hard.
I mean, what other teams could be? I just don't see many teams.
I remember at the beginning of the year when I was...
Don't even say Toronto. That's just not happening.
No, it's not. But I remember at the beginning of the year when there was all that talk about him going back to Ottawa.
Yeah.
That stuff was
I genuinely just don't see... I'm looking at all these teams, and at least, that's what I mean. Right now, does not many of them make sense. So...
I mean, kudos to putting that one together because, it's just...
Yeah. Maybe in the future, Buffalo and have an insane top 4 decor of Samuelsson, KARLSSON, Power, and Dahlin.
I don't even know how that would work, but that would actually be really
They could afford the salary cap, too. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, they could.
We have the time. I might as well just think of how it could work because salary is not going to matter. Well, yeah, salary...
by then. Do we know for sure how much it's going up this offseason?
No, I mean, what we're been told, $1 to $5 million. So it doesn't really matter. So I think...
But it's a year after where it's it's going to jump.
Yeah.
Really
so
jump.
Let's just say Buffalo and Edmonton, or Buffalo and San Jose traded, and it was a KARLSSON trade at the end of this season. So it's either the draft or the off season. You want to say free agency, when free agency starts. So it's after the draft. Mm-hmm. I would say a 2024 first for Buffalo that's top 10 protected.
I don't even know if they have to do that, really.
I know, but it's just in case, because you don't want to be like Florida or whatever. So I would say a first that's top 10 protected. I gotta do it.
Isaac Rosen.
Okay, I like that.
Because they probably favor Kulich over him.
Yeah, Isaac Rosen, Jacob Bryson.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna say Henry Jokiharju because he's 2 years younger.
I think they like him now. I think they like.
Well, he's a right. Well, if you're getting Erik Karlsson,
yeah, that's true.
So Rosen a first, Jokiharju. We're getting close. I think we're already getting close to what it should be.
Do you throw in since they have UPL? Do they throw in Devin Levi?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean...
But, dude, I don't know, though, because Devin Levi's tearing it up. He's, one of the best goalie prospects. Do you throw in UPL instead?
I don't think you throw him in because he's already
getting
experience.
Okay, all right. So I say first, Isaac Rosen, Levi, and Jokiharju. I think that's enough. Because you got to think his contract still takes away some value of what he actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe throwing a pick. Okay, maybe.
But then Mike Greer is going to say at this age, that's what they're going to say to every GM, or what he's going to say to every other GM. Look at his age. He's 33, and then they're going to say, look at his goals, assists, and points, and tell me how that's not worth more. That's literally that's
okay.
What
How about this?
Say.
First, second, UPL, Rosen, and Jokiharju.
I mean, it's better. It's definitely better. I might do it, honestly. Who else could they? A first, Rosen, UPL, Jokiharju.
I know he doesn't have much value, but at this point next season he'll be 25. 1 more year left, so he'll be an RFA. Can get the ice time in San Jose. I mean, maybe Casey Middlestat. It's definitely time to move on there too.
He's having a better year than the guy that I was going to throw in instead of Casey Middlestat.
Actually, Middlestat will still be 2024 by the free agency.
Well, I was going to say instead of Middlestat, maybe throw in now this would be a second trade, but I was going to say Peyton Krebs, he's 13 points in 43 games.
I think they both would have the same value about right now.
Yeah, probably. I mean, and Peyton Krebs is
maybe Krebs has a little more. I think Krebs has a little more.
He might, and I've seen flashes of him whenever they play Detroit or we can watch the Pittsburgh games. But he's good. I mean, Casey Middlestat regardless of his first couple years with development, and then I don't even know if you would count this just because of the ownership and the
do a pull up.
Well, yeah, everything that Buffalo's going through his first couple of years, and then as soon as Granato came in, I mean he's definitely been definitely been better. So
So wait, so what do you think as far as value you can tell, or like trying to see into the future? What do you think that trade works on?
I do.
Yeah.
I
And then
said,
imagine, because then they still have cap space. Like I said, cap space is not an issue. And then they sign Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't even want to think about
That team, oh my, that would be so scary.
Isaac Rosen's he's still young.
He's like, what, 21?
He was drafted 2022, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive, but I mean,
I think that would be, yeah, so basically to sum that up, I mean, KARLSSON, it's definitely not going to happen unless it retains salary.
Isaac, yeah, he's 19 years old. He has 20 points in 37 AHL games, so
That's pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, so other than, I mean, KARLSSON trade, it's just too hard to figure out, you know what I mean?
I like that. I might honestly like the Buffalo one more than the.
We're going to have to save that and start telling people.
Yeah, I know.
I
I do like the Buffalo one more than the Edmonton one, even though at this deadline, the Edmonton one obviously like.
yeah,
makes
but
way more
I think
sense.
too, like, I mean, yeah, you could say this for most trades that happen, but the trades matter when it depends when they happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But especially like the KARLSSON one, it definitely there's a huge difference between in season and off season just because of the salary cap,
Right.
and because you're allowed to go over the salary cap by a certain percentage, and all that stuff, especially when you do it. So, I think that is definitely something that's very interesting that could happen, and definitely just keep an eye on because. I don't know. If you're any other GM in the league looking at KARLSSON, do you think he can do this again next season? Okay, maybe not maybe fourth in the league in scoring halfway
maybe
through
not
February,
20 points,
but maybe
over
like
game.
do
20 per game.
Do you still see him as a 70 to 80 point defenseman
Mm-hmm.
going into next season?
I mean, I do.
Yeah,
I it's not like
he's doing this on San Jose. That's the thing.
he's doing this on also one Achilles. So
Yeah, true.
I maybe got another one. I don't know, but I really like that Buffalo trade. Are there any other guys that like just depth guys like you could see getting moved?
I was gonna say we could think about. I was gonna say we could give our reaction to the Tarasenko trade too, since we never did.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
All in all, I think it's just a trade, a good trade.
yeah. I mean, again, it's just like with the. I mean, I think you and I even said this like yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever. It's just like with this production and whatnot. It's like that's probably what you're gonna get. So
Yeah, I mean, you didn't want to give up the asking for Kane, which is fair.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And you went and got your guy early, 2.5 weeks earlier than the deadline.
Yeah.
So now it's deadline day, and imagine it's like the Rangers, the Islanders, the Devils, all in a bidding war for Patrick Kane and Timo Meyer. Like, well, when those players go anyways, all these teams are going to go to Tarasenko. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
As
Rangers-
a cheaper replacement. So I'm just going to take him now. You know what I mean?
Kind of feel bad for Kane because obviously he wanted to go to a contender, but he wanted to play with Panarin again. Like, I mean,
Dude,
he made it obvious in that reaction where he was like basically
Yeah.
said he was disappointed. I think he said something along the lines of like, obviously there was reasons as to why I wanted to go there. He was
Panarin don't care. Now he's with his Russian friend.
Yeah, I know, and then, like the Panarin from his rookie year to the Panarin now is just they're two different Panarin.
As much as I hate the Rangers, because I really do, but like if you look at their cap friendly, like they're like such a clean team because like next season they have $3.5 million of dead cap coming off the books, which is already in itself a plus. Like I'm talking Brad Richards, Tony DeAngelo, Dan Girardi, and Kevin Shattenkirk are all coming off the books, which is already a plus.
Brad Richards.
Goaltending self-explanatory. I love their defense. I mean, Fox, Trouba, Lindgren, Mikkola now, which we'll talk about in a second. Keandre Miller and Braden Schneider is your top 6.
That's a good.
That's
decor.
literally like a top 10. I would say top 8 at least. You know, without like actually looking at it. You know what I mean?
that.
And then now your forward core: Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, Trocheck, Tarasenko, Goudreau, Hedel, Kako, Lafreniere, Kravtsov, Gauthier, Lecision, and VC.
Well, he might not even be there. So
Kravtsov?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I had him in a trade thing today on another one. I forget what I had him with, but I had him in a trade as well. But that's your and then no one you could that's really NHL like reliable that you can call it from the 8. Well, Ryan Carpenter, that's about it. But either way, and then you have Zach Jones who can call up on defense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this team is ready for the playoffs. If they still want to, they have a first, a second, a third for this year's draft. First, a second, and a third for next year's draft as well. And they also have an additional $1.5 million at the deadline still, so they can add another forward or depth defenseman, or
Maybe
flip Kravtsov or something as well.
Maybe they go out and they get Barbashev, then they have like Kravtsov part of the. They might just do that, just like.
Yeah, because I saw that the return for Barbashev is like a second and a mid-level prospect, and I think Kravtsov is a little bit better than mid-level prospect.
Yeah.
And I think he's a little worse than a second, so I think it evens out, honestly.
He's a.
Actually, I think that's the trade I had on Cap Friendly.
It makes sense. He would be a reclamation project, basically.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think as far as Tarasenko goes, I mean, you got him at 50% retained, so regardless of what state you're in as a team, that always helps.
Mm-hmm.
First-round pick, which is probably going to be later than 20, in all honesty.
Yeah, late as can be. That's expected, then.
Yeah, so I think all in all, for the Rangers, it's going to be hard to lose this. What do you think?
I mean, he's already paying off for them. Man, he scored in his first game.
Yeah.
And,
I had Barbashev going to Vegas for Zach Dean in a second, and then I had Nola Chari going back to Boston for a third, and then I got crazy with it. I had Bortuzzo and O'Reilly going to Toronto for just a first.
I like that Vegas one with Barbashev.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about Zach Dean, like his.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw that he was 20. I know he's a decently touted. I mean, I think he fit the description of middle.
I think he was pretty sure he's a first rounder.
No, because he would have been traded already by Vegas. He's a second rounder.
Yeah, you'd be wrong.
Really?
Well, I mean, he's the 30th pick in the draft. So I mean, take what that as you will.
Yeah.
He's got 44 points in his junior.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think Shane Gostisbehere is going to go?
Edmonton.
But okay, who's Edmonton going to get? KARLSSON, Gostisbehere, or Edmondson?
It's also like,
or Chychrun. You know what I mean? Edmonton's linked to every defenseman.
Well, it's also like, what's the most realistic that they could get? Probably Gostisbehere. But that also goes for any
But like,
team.
why do you get Gostisbehere when you already have Barry and Bouchard?
I mean,
why not go for Edmonton, who's going to give you defense?
Well, my other team, until I forgot about their cap restraints, would have been Florida. But I don't even I really don't.
You can't. Well, my team for Gostisbehere would have been LA, but you're going after a different defenseman on the Yotes.
Which is fine.
I would say for Gostisbehere, I don't know.
I could see him going to Winnipeg.
Oh, that's a really good one. Oh yeah,
I could see.
So if we said Winnipeg, Gostisbehere, I mean, they don't need to retain 50%, so I'm not going to have them going to.
What's he doing this year?
Gostisbehere, I think he's cooled down. I know he started off really hot.
Yeah, he was he was doing a little too well. It was kind of making me mad.
You know, you have a lot of cap space in your rebuilding team when you don't even bother to put Andrew Ladd or Brian Little on LTIR.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's 29 points. Basically half a point per game.
I don't think that's first round pick. If you're not retaining 50%, I don't think that's first round pick territory. I think it's like a second and a fourth, or second and a third, or second and a prospect.
A fourth and Heinola.
I'm not doing that because then it's because then you also
no. If I'm Winnipeg, I'm not doing that. But that's also what Arizona's going to ask.
But also, if you think about it like that, okay, so say Winnipeg does that, and then you better re-sign Gostisbehere.
Mm-hmm.
But then if that's the case, then you better find some. Actually, they have Neil Pionk. I forgot they had Neil Pionk.
He can be on Holley, and they have more. Okay, never
mind. Then you
gotta mind. Yeah, disregard everything I said because they have him and they have Morrissey. So.
And they have Nate Schmidt and they have Brendan. Long-term, big money defense. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't care about them. I was just thinking about people who would quarterback.
If you're giving up Heinola, it better be worth it, and it better be for the long term. So, Gostisbehere.
All right, so disregard Winnipeg because I forgot about Morrissey.
Seattle, maybe Seattle.
That's a good one. What could they throw?
It'll probably have to be 50% for Seattle because they're pretty up to the cap.
How about just a pick? Because I'm pretty sure they have plenty.
How about Gostisbehere 50% for? You know what? It's perfect. They have Winnipeg second.
Yeah. No, literally, just.
And then maybe Toronto's third if they're going to retain 50%.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
I'd be happy with that trade. A second and a third for Gostisbehere at 50% to Seattle.
Yeah, and then you have options for your power play because the first one I'm pretty sure is Dunn.
And then you just rotate Dunn, Schultz. Well, actually, leave Dunn on the first because he's tearing it up right now.
Oh, yeah,
he could have actually easily been player of the pot if we did it.
But we don't.
Yeah. I don't know. We have enough time for one or two more players. Who do you think?
Jake McCabe. Where's Jake McCabe going? Everybody wants to know where's.
I had a great one because this was my armchair. I did a Chicago one. I'll let you look at it because honestly, I did every trade obviously because there's a lot. If you're Chicago, I actually want you to look at it. Look at the trades. look at the draft picks and look at the roster at the very end. And while you're doing that, I'll kind of just talk about Jake McCabe. But yeah, it basically sounds like he's going to Toronto.
Yeah, this was basically the Kane one we talked about.
And I know that Kyle Dubas, obviously I hear from the Steve Dangle podcast, he likes to get, 2 for the price of 1 basically. Like last year that he got Blackwell and Giordano in one trade.
I like that Rangers one.
What's the Rangers?
Athanasiou and Blackwell for Kratz.
Oh yeah, I told you I had Kratz having
Yeah.
one. But yeah, I think for Chicago with Jake McCabe, it's going to be too much to retain salary on him because I think he has 2 more years left after this one. So I think if you trade him to Toronto and include Sam Lafferty, because I think that's a great fit in Toronto. So like Sam Lafferty, and I think I threw in Alex Stalock.
Wait, this is yours, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you got comments on it.
Yeah.
People, this is what it takes for Dallas. They should jump all over it. I agree. It's the best. Avs decline. So, yep. I mean this.
You're never going to win with anyone commenting on these because they don't understand.
Well, I mean, I think for the most part they
What do you think about that roster though? If that actually was theirs, maybe we can probably throw this on the screen. I feel like.
Yeah, that is horrible.
Yeah,
it's very bad.
It's literally like one of the worst teams I've ever seen.
Your centers are Johnson, Kurashev, Dickinson, and Jujhar Khaira.
Yeah, but look at those draft picks though.
I mean
honestly,
that's what you got to do.
This is obviously hypothetical, and obviously
4 first rounders. That's crazy.
And all those players. I mean, that's if you don't mess it up. You know what I mean?
I don't think they will. Kyle Richardson, their GM,
they might. I mean, a lot of things they did in the offs. They could have way more assets if they qualified Strome and Kubalik and found trades for them. Or what were the other bad moves they made? You definitely could have got more for taking on Peter Mrazek's contract.
Doc, I forget what Doc was though.
It was like a first. Remember, it was like the 13th overall.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
That's good. But I feel like they made a couple other trades that were kind of.
Well, that was literally his first kick at the can. I mean, he.
Yeah, you're right.
He just
everyone's going to take advantage of you. I feel like we've seen that with a lot of other GMs.
Yeah, but I mean, he understands that this team needs to rebuild. They have a long rebuild. Even if they get Bedard, they still got like a year or 2. Because I mean, Bedard fixed really any team's problems, but.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think. I feel like the trade, like all the rumors, like everything's heating up now, like literally everything. So it makes me think that the trade deadline's not that far away. But it's like 2.5 weeks away.
I always get anxious opening up Instagram the past week, just like trying to see if anything happens. Which I mean, the Tarasenko thing.
So do you think because obviously we already seen the Horvat and the Tarasenko, 2 really big trades. Do you think we see any other trades? Because there's going to be more trades before the actual day of deadline. You know what I mean? What trades do you think you see happen a couple days from now, a week from now, or like a couple days before? Because, I mean, it's just an example. Like, Jeff Carter was done like the day before the deadline.
Before we wrap it up, I don't think I have any big names. I think the first trade that like kicked it off last year, or I guess significant one, was the Josh Manson one. So
you're right.
So I think the equivalent.
And Hampus Lindholm was like a day before, I think, too.
It was after, I'm pretty sure. And so I think maybe like the equivalent would probably be like McCabe kicking it off for like I don't know.
But like Chikrin though, I would not be surprised. Again, okay, we got the Bill Horvat. Just get done recording. Second we get back, the trade happens. Just actually, you want to make sure.
Yeah, I'll check right now.
But yeah, this Chikrin trade can literally happen any hour now.
Yeah, no,
honestly. So I'd say I'll be different and not say Chikrin. I'd say maybe a trade that kicks it off. I don't know if he's coming back. Do you know Perunovic is back? He was supposed to be out the whole season. They just sent him on a conditioning stint in the AHL. The Blues did.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't even know he came back.
I'll be weird. I say because I think he's either back already or he's about to be back. I'm saying O'Reilly gets dealt next.
I don't know because he's been out for a while. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know. I just want to be different because it's probably going to be Chikrin. But
yeah.
Other than that, I think that's really it. I kind of just want the trade deadline to be here already.
You and everybody else, so.
Yeah, but other than that, we'll figure out a way to put up these graphics that some of the different ones that we were going through, maybe the proposals or whatnot. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. You might be hearing from us very shortly, maybe in a couple days. Regardless, let us know what you guys think of our trade proposals. If you even want to be taking a step crazier, submit us some and maybe we can react to it, or just on where you think certain players would go, or what do you think certain teams should do at the deadline. Like, perfect example, the Sabres. I don't think they should make a single move.
No.
I literally think they should just stand pat. Maybe trade Comrie, because I think they might want to, or Anderson, but Other than that, don't do anything else.
Significant, yeah.
Yeah, but anything else you want to say before you sign off?
No, I like everything we talked about today. This was definitely a good talk.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.